4 degrees already, and it's going to continue to drop a little at a time as the shadows continue to ease their way across Heartland Motorsports Park, and that means it's going to continue to get better for our Nitro card. It almost wouldn't be Topeka if Jack Wyatt wasn't here, would it?
No, Jack Wyatt, great guy to Seymour, Iowa, has been in drag racing for more than half a century. You know, famously, he was 14 years old and built a gasser. He was too young to drive it, so him and his buddy towed it to the local drag strip, and he had his friend drive it until he was old enough to get a license. So Jack Wyatt has had this sport deep, deep, deep in his blood and in his soul for basically his entire life. One of his great moments in NHRA racing came at the Mile High Nationals last year. He had a giant first-round upset win in this very car. When he's not in the car, we don't see him that frequently. He runs on his own budget, which we totally respect. But he is somebody that is a very seasoned guy, and he will be brought in by a lot of teams to give help and train people.
Yeah, there's no question about it. You got, your clutch guy is sick this weekend, or, your cylinder head guy needs to stay home and take care of the kids this weekend, or you got something going on. Jack Wyatt's a guy that knows every inch of one of these cars. And even though we don't necessarily see him behind the wheel on a weekly basis, we do see him pretty regularly. Not a lot of points, so he gets to, or has to, go first. That thing made a move towards the center line, and he, as a veteran, took his foot off the gas to keep it on his side. 421 at 245 miles an hour crossing the finish line. But that's, I'd look at that kind of like David Quadra's run, right? You know you're going to be first. Come up here, set the car up a little soft. Make sure you go down the racetrack. Give yourself something to work with later in the weekend.
And look, like you said, it's a little thing that when you're sitting there watching, it doesn't seem like a big deal. But having the instinct to rip your foot out of the throttle and keep the car from hitting the blocks. Because, listen, we got 17 of them here, so you have to qualify for the show. 427, who knows if that ends up being the bump or whatever. But at least you have some representative data, and you have a run that will stick. Having the instinct to do that and do it early enough to get the car to react is what Jack Wyatt just did there.
They'll push him off, and then we should start sending them at you 2 at a time.